All right, everyone, welcome back to another log. Today I wanted to discuss a little bit about the direction of the nonverbal group and kind of how I'm thinking about it. So a little bit about me, I'm a really big planner. I love to think things through and really sort of source out the direction of things before I start doing them. And it's like one of my strengths, it's one of those things that's like my greatest strength and also my weakness. So I tend to get a little bit lost in those details of what something should look like instead of actually start building it. And this has been a theme and sort of habit of my life. So, for example, I'll spend so much time planning out a course, an outline, the different features of the course, what it's going to deliver on, and really high level stuff that I don't think a lot of course creators are doing and should be doing. But I won't actually build the course, right? So I'll spend so much time in the outline and going back and forth on things. The reality is I'm way more effective when I'm just writing. So when I'm writing and trying to sort of, whether it's the introduction or a framework in the course or something like that, that's when it really comes alive, and that's when I really start to see things connect. So I got to do more writing than I've been doing planning. Now the problem with a lot of this is there's a lot of directions that I could obviously go with the nonverbal group. I could essentially do things related to social skills from the context of everyday life. I can do things related to business, and I've done a lot of this. So one of the things that's really interesting is my experiences with human behavior and communication has been so diverse. I've gotten to sample everything. So I've done high-level private executive coaching. I still am right now. I've done group workshops in person. I've done online courses. I've worked with people on skill sets from dating to relationships to how to pitch to VCs. I mean, when I was younger, I said yes to everything. And because I had that energy, I would say yes. And I'd spend so much time planning and really going deep into that industry and learning about it. And then I'd work in that industry for 6 months, 9 months. I get bored and I do something else. So that kind of was my experience or the way that I approach things. And now as I'm a more, I guess, senior entrepreneur, or whatever the hell you want to call me, there's a big problem with that. You want to have defined funnels, defined pipelines, core products. You don't want to invent 7 different products over the course of a year. Like if it was up to me, I'm a little bit like a madman. Like, I'd be making 17 courses right now or something like that. So I'm getting really clear on direction. And one of the things that I've been really struggling with is who am I trying to serve? And I really, really, really believe that the core IP of the nonverbal group and the way we approach personal development and communication could have an incredible impact on the world. And I want to I want to change how people socially interact or approach social interactions, like sort of at a global level. But then there's also, I'm a bootstrap company. We don't know plans of raising money. We're doing this with our own capital, so on and so forth. So it's like, how do you create content for, like, if it was up to me, somebody would give me, like, let's say if I had $100 million right now, all I would probably do, if I had that much money, I'd just make free courses for everybody. Just that's what I would do. That's not the case, obviously. So now it's like, who do I want to speak to? And I've got like 7 or 8 really solid product ideas for really immersive experiences that I believe could change people's lives. But there is a fundamental difference between working with, like, let's say, managers on their behavioral style of leadership than there is with, Anthony, who's a 27-year-old kid struggling in social interactions. And the reason why is the context is completely different. And the big thing, like one of our core tenets in the nonverbal group, is context. It's discussing and going over that we live in a context void society, that like we make assumptions and we assume people are the way that they are when we don't really have enough context. And in order to teach people how to navigate a certain dynamic, you need to be able to understand that context. So a 27-year-old, there's a different context than there is in somebody who's like 35 or 40 or trying to, and runs a team of 50 people. And the reason why I say that context is different is that if I were to right now take any manager, senior leadership, whatever you want to call, somebody that has a direct report of a number around 50. Let's just say around 50. I guarantee you they cross industry from, procurement to tech to the military, you're going to see the same trends and themes. They're going to deal with the same struggles and obstacles and so on and so forth. So what you want to do to be effective in a specific area, you want to be able to, not be so hyper specific, but not be so general. You can't, the same way that I would approach a conversation with, let's say, a random interaction with somebody on the street is going to be a lot different than the conversation with senior leadership in a dynamic where you need to present an initiative or something like that. So what it's really been about is like, what do I find the most interesting? Because I've worked with my coach, who's two coaches, and one of them is really big on like, Blake, you get bored easily, like you need to be interested, and he's 100% right. And I'm interested in all these things and I want to do all these things, but like it's hard for me. It's really, 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 it's like a challenge for me not to want to do 7 or 8 different things. And what I'm starting to see is the only way that I can really accelerate this is I need to do some of the initial building, and then I need to bring other people in to run those various verticals because they're so different and they're so dynamic. So it's a good problem to have. Like, and I'm really fortunate and happy that I can provide value in these bunch of different directions. But like, man, it's tough saying like, I'm going to commit to this for X period of time or work on that. Cause like I spent, 8 years studying poker players and focusing on poker tells and stuff like that and building businesses around that. And I believe that with my current skill sets and knowledge, instead of that being an 8-year process, it could have very well been a 2-year process. So it's like, how do you actually take everything that you've learned and integrate it and go into the direction that makes sense? And I think is one of the biggest things that entrepreneurs struggle with. I think knowing what to do versus what you should do for you versus what you should do given your current resources. And that's really what dictates my decision. Is I look at my available resources, the ways that I can currently make money, what have the bandwidth for creating, what I like to do, and I'll choose whatever's best for the right time. And really, this is, I'm already doing private consulting right now and also working with private executives right now. But like, there's only a certain amount of bandwidth that I can have for that. So I only want to be coaching like 4 to 5 people at any given time. It doesn't allow the amount of money that's required to build some of the stuff that I'm building. So yeah, it's really cool. And I just want to share this with you guys because I really do feel like, there's just this, especially in the entrepreneurial industry, there's this label that like people have it figured out. And I really feel like I've worked with some like high level executives and they may talk like they have it figured out but people don't know what the hell everybody doesn't know what they're doing. Like you have to get in there. You have to work on things. You have to improve things. Like I'm better at making courses because literally the next course that I'm making is like number 29. Like I've made 29 courses, so you get better. My first course, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I taught Psychology 101, City University of New York. I was 21 years old. I had no clue. Went through the textbook. I did what I thought I would do. And between number 1 and between number 29, there's all of those lessons. But I still have so many things that I don't know about direction and like what makes sense and what not. And I think that's one of the things that really is so cool about the entrepreneurial journey is that you don't know, right? Like, and because you're an entrepreneur and because you're driving this ship, it's like this landscape that you get to create, that you get to decide what's next and what direction you should be going in and why you should be going in the direction. And that's why I'm just so obsessed with the concept of creating something and being an entrepreneur. But it is definitely not without struggle. Like right now, I'm excited because I just got a call from my private client. It was great and just doing all these things right now. But like, there's times where I'm sitting in front of a notebook and like thinking about things for like 3 hours. Like, all right, and just going back and forth. So there's these peaks and valleys that I'm sort of dealing with right now, and it's fun and it's rewarding and I love it. So yeah, so I'm curious to see like what this turns into. I will tell you right now, future Blake or future, because I said these videos are for me, not necessarily for you. I think that if I know myself I'm going to be doing a little bit of everything. I think we're going to have our arms in corporate consulting quite aggressively. I think we're going to be doing a lot of private coaching, a lot of live workshops, a lot of online courses. I think we're going to be everywhere. I just don't know the order in which that we are going to do that. So I'm very curious to see where this goes. But yeah, that's the longer vision, is not just one vertical. I want to be attacking medicine and multiple industries and a bunch of different things, because I really think that the core way that we approach communication could just be so impactful for so many people. So yeah, that's about it. My rant. My random ending. I'm about to go to Utah for another Spartan race. Going to drive 6 hours up to Utah and do this race, and then with Molly, and then go visit Elliott Rowe for lunch. And I'm looking forward to it.